Hi, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my craft room and thank you for joining me today for a Heffy Doodle video where I am sharing how you can combine lots of different Heffy Doodle products from all of their releases to create a Halloween card. So I'm going to start with some ink smushing and some splatter to create a fun and unique background. So I'm grabbing some of my favorite colors of Distress Oxides for Halloween. I'm starting with Villainous Potion and Black Soot, and this is a piece of watercolor cardstock. I went ahead and smushed some of that ink onto my mat and used my Distress sprayer to get the ink nice and wet. I did a layer just by smushing my paper into the watered down ink, and I'm using my heat gun to dry that first layer. And I really wanted a lot more purple and I wanted some bigger splotches on my card, so I did an additional ink smush of that Villainous Potion. Again, sprayed it with water, smushed my paper right into the ink, and I'm using my heat gun to dry that second layer. Now I just want to add a little bit of splatter of these two other colors. This is Twisted Citron and Carved Pumpkin. So I went ahead and smushed that ink onto my mat, added some water, and I'm using a fine brush. I'm using one of that Twisted Citron, and then when I'm happy with the splatter, moving into Carved Pumpkin and splattering those colors on. I really wanted them to be subtle. They're going to match our cute little fuzzy spiders in the end, but I wanted my background to be predominantly that purple and dark gray or black look. And I'm going to grab one of my favorite cover plate dies from Heffy Doodle. This is called the Stitched Hearts background die, and it adds this really pretty subtle stitched hearts all around the background. You really can't see it unless you're looking for it, which is just a really nice way to create more fun in your background. And I'm going to grab the Hang In There giant or jumbo word die set from a previous release. I thought this die would go perfectly with our cute little fuzzy spiders from the Let's Hang Out stamp set. So I die cut the shadow out of some vellum and the sentiment Hang In There out of some Oreo Crunch cardstock from Heffy Doodle. It's going to go perfectly onto my A2 card, but of course we need to stamp out those cutie little spiders. I think these are my favorite critters from the new release. Something about the fuzzy spiders just really gets me. So I'm using my Misty and I use my little trimmer to cut a piece of my Heffy Doodle alcohol marker friendly cardstock, and I put my spiders on, but I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and stamp out some additional pieces like my little web, the string that my spider is going to be hanging from, and of course that cute little fly. I like to sneak that little fly in every time I can with these spiders. I went ahead and stamped them onto that cardstock using some black alcohol marker friendly ink. And then I'm just going to grab my Spectrum Noir Illustrator markers and do some very, very basic coloring on these spiders. I don't really want to go into a crazy amount of detail because I want to make this card easily reproducible so I could, make a bunch of these cute little Halloween cards to send out to my friends. So I'm going to be coloring in one of my spiders green, and I'm using AG2 and AG1. Again, these are Spectrum Noir markers. And then for the orange, I'm going to be using BO3 and BO2, trying to match my Twisted Citron and Carved Pumpkin splatters so I can bring in more of those fun, bright Halloween colors. So once I have completely colored in my critters, I'm going to realize later that I totally forgot to color in my spider's tongue and my little fly's wings. So I will grab a coral color CR5 to color in the tongue, and then I grabbed a pale mint BT1 to color in the wings of the fly. And I realized that as I'm placing my dies around my images, and I kind of fast forwarded through that part since you didn't need to see me put dies around each image for this video. So just wanted to let you know that those were the colors that I did use. So I'm grabbing all of the corresponding dies for these images, and I'm going to grab my Heffy Doodle tape so I can make sure that those dies stay in place while I run them through my cute little mini die cut machine. I have my plates and I like to put my paper onto my plate and then lay down my dies using my tape to keep them in place, because there's been lots of times where I've lifted up my paper to put onto my die cutting plate and the dies moved. So just going to put it right onto that plate the first time and not risk any movement. So I'm going to run those images through and you'll see how perfectly they cut out. I absolutely love this little mini machine. It's so great for little images like this, and I keep it on my desk all the time. So I'm going to pop those out. Again, very simple coloring, very cute little critters, and what's really going to shine is this sentiment on our card. So I'm leaning into that hang in there, of course, and I'm going to dangle my cute little orange spider using that little web string, I guess, from coming out of the G. So I tucked the top into the G and then added some adhesive so it will overlap over those hearts on the right. And then I'm going to add my orange spider over those hearts. The hearts are definitely super cute and again go with our background. And there is a little heart as the tittle of the eye, but I'm going to actually cover those hearts with my spiders for this card. So I added some adhesive behind my sentiment to glue it onto the background, and I'm adding adhesive only where the black cardstock will cover it. Since it is vellum, it will show your adhesive, so you want to make sure that you don't go too crazy with your glue burn. So I'm going to have my orange spider on the right, my green spider on the left. I tucked my little spider web under that E because I like the way it kind of goes a little higher than the rest of the letters, and I thought it would be really cute to tuck that little spider web in that spot. And then I added my cute little fly on my G. Again, I like to sneak him in anywhere I can with these cute spiders. To add a little bit of dimension, I'm going to grab some of my Heffy adhesive strips. This is a foam adhesive strip, and I'm going to trim them down to fit behind my spider. So really great for adding some dimension, and it's so easy to cut and add behind any type, of size of paper that you're putting onto your card. I'm peeling off the release paper, adding that orange spider, like I said, on the right, like it's a little dangling, it's hanging on there, and then our cute little laughing green spider on the left. I'm grabbing my enamel dots from the Fright Night collection, and I'm going to add 5 enamel dots in black to my background. I always struggle with spacing these type of enamel dots or embellishments on my card, so if you're out there wondering how do I space these nicely, you're not alone. It really just comes with preference and taste, and just make sure you don't push them all the way down until you're happy with where they are located on the card. I grabbed a top folding A2 card base, and I'm going to add some really strong double-sided adhesive because I did play around a lot with my watercolor cardstock. There's ink, there's water, there's glue, there's dimension, and I did use my heat gun to dry, so it's a tiny bit warped. So I want to make sure that this piece of watercolor cardstock really sticks to the front of my card base. So once I have that placed on there, you can see how cute this little card turned out. I also stamped Happy Halloween with that large spider web to add a sentiment on the inside of the card. So here is our quick and easy little Halloween card. Again, mixing lots of different products from different releases from Heffy Doodle. I love that you can use large jumbo sets that were intended for a completely different set for Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!